Okay, Will wrote in saying, "What's the stupidest question someone has asked you?" This reminded me of the whole "there's no stupid questions" thing that you sometimes hear in school, or you'll sometimes hear instructors in different fields always say, "Listen, there's no stupid questions here. Any question you ask is because you are lacking knowledge in something and you want to know, and there's no such thing as stupid questions." I agree that we should never shame people for asking questions because a question is someone seeking knowledge as a general principle. However, there are ignorant or uninformed questions where we might hear from I don't know, you might hear from a 30-year-old who has lived in Western society who has just killed someone, and they say, "Hey, is it illegal to go out and kill people?" I mean, no, it's not a stupid question, but it's clearly indicative of someone who's completely uninformed and ignorant to basic laws that most everybody in Western society would sort of be aware of. So I am into the idea of not shaming anyone who is seeking knowledge, but I am not against identifying questions as either uninformed or ignorant, or also having sort of purposes that are deliberately meant to influence opinion, right? And this leads us to leading questions and the way polling is sometimes done. Okay, so I've gotten that out of the way. The stupidest question someone has asked you. I don't know that I have completely specific examples of, quote, stupid questions. There are questions that I very often find myself answering, which are really, really annoying. And one of them, and I've told this story before, is when people ask me about what I do. I say, "Oh, I host a national TV and radio show." And they say, "Oh, where does it air?" And I say, "Well, it's on 200 radio and TV stations, as well as on DirecTV. It has a podcast and YouTube." And then they say, "Oh, so it's like an online only thing?" And then I usually just repeat the answer verbatim. I say, "No, it's on 200 radio and TV stations." And right, I find that to be a very irritating question. Is it stupid? I guess not. And people have written to me when I explain this saying, anytime you mention podcast and YouTube, people are just going to assume that it's online only and that it doesn't have like a terrestrial presence or something like that. So generally people defend that question when I tell the story. So for me, it's not so much about stupid questions, but about questions where I feel like someone's just not listening or someone's just not getting it.
I'd say it's mostly highly annoyance to me. It's the same thing as someone stating the obvious. It's kind of the same thing as a stupid question. Asking something that's too obvious is just, it's just annoying to me. That's all it is, really. It's not, everyone should try to seek knowledge and the things they don't know to not be ignorant on the facts. But at the same time, like, why is the sky blue today? Oh, the weather, that's nice. I mean, these are things that we all talk about, but at the same time, at some point they get to like the annoyance level for me.
Another example would be when we announced that producer Lewis was going to be leaving the show. A whole bunch of the comments to that YouTube video were people lamenting that I was leaving the show and asking me why I was leaving the show. Why is David leaving the show? Is that a stupid question? I don't know. It's certainly one that is remaining completely ignorant of what was actually said in our announcement. But to answer Will's question, my general principle is I don't want to ever make someone feel bad because they are coming to me with an inquiry of some kind. That, I think, really is the principle that I adhere to when it comes to an attitude of pro-learning and seeking knowledge, etc. But there's no doubt that I've suffered through any number of absolutely annoying, ignorant, and very, very uninformed questions, including many questions about when people learn that I'm from Argentina. Oh, do you speak Portuguese? No. And I know that the question is asked because they believe that the language spoken in Argentina is Portuguese. And sometimes just for kicks, I'll say, "No, I don't. I never learned it," and never explain that the reason I didn't learn it is because that's not the language actually spoken in Argentina. Or when people say, "Oh, do you celebrate Christmas?" And I say, "No, actually, I grew up Jewish and I'm really pretty secular." They say, "Oh, well, but I thought Jews celebrated Christmas now, don't they?" I don't know where you heard that. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. No, my answer is just no. I don't know anything about that.
I was once told, if you try to think like a fool, then you're thinking like a fool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not totally sure what that one means, but it sounds like a very good piece of advice.
So the idea is that if you try to actually figure out what a fool is thinking, then you're actually in the mindset of a fool. So that's don't know, something to think about, I guess.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to have to think on that one for a while because I think that's deeper than it sounds. Keep the questions coming. Thank you to Will, Bernie, and Nick. We will always answer 3 questions for you on Friday afternoon. And hopefully we're imparting some knowledge and insight into our psyches by answering these questions. We have a terrific bonus show coming up for you today. Remember, davidpakman.com/membership is the one place to sign